Alright world, welcome back to another episode of reVIEW. Blair Witch, starring James Allen McCune, Callie Hernandez, Corbin Reed, and directed by Adam Wingard. Alright, this is the sequel, nixing the other sequel to the Blair Witch that came out in 1999, which was a huge success. It was a really small budget independent horror film that blew up into a giant blockbuster, made a ton of money, critically acclaimed. Fans were kind of split, some people loved it, some people hated it. But here we are now, 2016, and we get a proper sequel to probably what we should have gotten back in, 2001, when the really awful sequel to Blair Witch came out. So in this movie we have James and his friends going out into the same woods that his sister Heather went out to in the original Blair Witch film because he thinks that there's a chance that she might be alive. And again, we have another found footage film just like the original. And that's the setup. That's everything that you need to know going into this movie. But is it any good, I guess, is the question, right? Is this movie any good? Well, in my opinion, I would have to say no. I didn't really enjoy this movie very much at all. The characters aren't very compelling, and they're all just kind of dumb and naive, which I guess is most horror films. But none of the characters are compelling enough for me to really care if they live or die throughout this scenario. And the way that this film is shot, I know it's found footage and those movies can be kind of jarring. I actually like these kind of movies like Chronicle and Cloverfield and Quarantine. Like these movies, if done right, can actually be pretty enjoyable to watch. This movie, not done right. One of my bigger annoyances is that one of the characters in the film is shooting all of this. She's got, cameras on everybody, so that way she can capture she's shooting a documentary for her class, for her college course. So she is an aspiring filmmaker, but cannot, frame a shot to save her life. Literally, that's funny. All of the shots are so close up in here, like this. This is where the whole movie was. The whole movie is shot right here. This is what you want to see the whole time. Even when it's just two people casually having a conversation, they're just talking. This is the shot that you get in the movie. It's awful. I actually became nauseous at one point. About half an hour into this movie, I started to feel a little queasy, and that lasted throughout the rest of the movie. I know that in horror films, it's sometimes nice to make you feel a little bit more claustrophobic by making all the camera angles really tight and not being able to see what's going on around everybody. But you're already in a found footage movie where most of your shots are point of view anyway, where you can't see what's behind the character or even around it. You're just seeing what's directly in front of them anyway. So that alone is claustrophobic enough for me with this type of movie. I know that I said here recently how much I enjoyed Don't Breathe and the way that it was shot with its nice close-up shots and making you feel claustrophobic, but it was done really well. This is a poor example of that. Blair Witch solely relies on jump scares. That is the only thing that it has going for it. It's just jump scare after jump scare after jump scare to the point of you just go numb from it and you can just ride out the whole climax, the whole third act. By that point, you're just so numb with the jump scares that you just let it go. You just it's on autopilot at that point. And, right when that third act started, I realized, oh yay, the movie's about to be over. I can go outside and get some fresh air. That was the biggest excitement of the film for me. Maybe. There's actually one part of this movie that I really thought was pretty cool, and it has to do with the art design, which is a lot of ripping off from the original, but the way that they do it in this movie, it's creepy and it works and I really like it. And what they end up doing with some of these particular designs, they give a little bits of backstories, I feel like, on some of the questions that you had from the first film. And one particular answer that they give makes for a really, really awesome shot that I won't spoil for you. But that was probably the most exciting part of the film for me. But in the same sense, that's also one of my problems with the film, is that they answer too many of those questions. Part of the reason why the first one is so good is because it is all very much a mystery, and in this one they try to answer a lot of those questions, which I feel like is also what the terrible sequel did for Blair Witch was it tried to answer too many questions, and that's one of the reasons why. I mean, there's plenty of reasons why that movie is, you know, terrible, but that's one of them, is that it tried to answer too many questions as well. So I don't know. Overall, I just don't think that this movie was really targeted towards me. I think I've said it before. I'm not really a big fan of this genre. I don't really like scary movies a whole lot. Blair Witch gets a 2 out of 5. It wasn't the worst horror film I've ever seen, but, you know, if you're into these kind of movies, maybe you'll enjoy it more so than I did, but this is just, it's not a movie targeted towards me. That's for damn sure. So if you get out to the theater this weekend, be sure to let me know what you guys thought of Blair Witch. And if you like this review, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and we'll catch you guys next time here on Rad Entertainment. Stephen Lang as the blind man is amazing. He is a force to be reckoned with. He is absolutely terrifying on screen. I absolutely love him as this character. It was actually really entertaining, and it was very enjoyable. But it's just predictable, and that's the biggest bummer about it, because when a movie is supposed to be a suspense like thriller, you want to not be able to see what's around the corner.